I guess this week's juice is ample sample. I feel like it has a hint of apple in there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Also, like just a small taste of cheese and crackers. Like it's just
right.
a little piece of you. Was that an aftertaste of cheese and crackers in my juice? I'm not saying it's a
I
good
don't
drink.
like it.
I'm
I
not
don't like
saying it's a
it.
good drink, mama.
Don't
I'm
like
just
it.
saying.
I don't like it.
Hey yo, DJ, run me that Sonic Juice shit.
Juice, juice, it's Sonic Juice, 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 it's Sonic Juice, baby. Juice, juice, it's Sonic Juice, 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 it's Sonic Juice, baby.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sonic Juice. How
Sonic
are y'all doing?
Juice.
Sonic Juice.
So much has happened since we've last been here.
I mean, isn't that always the case? Like,
It is.
literally, of the news cycle for anything is like what 4 hours, and then there's something else going
There's
on.
always
Like,
something fucking going on. And I'm
I
just
know
like,
every time we give a hot take, cool take, bitch, it's out of date by the time the
it's
episode
so
comes
out of
out.
fucking date. And I'm just like, hello. And then something fucking happens the moment that we're done recording. Something happens and it's like, fuck, I want to talk about this. And then I have like fucking
Bitch.
10 hot takes, and I'm like, I don't know which one to choose from.
Girl, that's what your Twitter is for. Okay. Good week. A good week for you.
A great week for me, musically and
Awesome.
personally. You know,
Ooh, now that's the fucking news I want to
exactly.
hear. That's great. It's been a great week for me as well. I've gotten a lot of stuff done. And, if y'all don't follow us on social media, we've been popping out on social media lately at Sonic Juice
Exactly.
Pod.
Hmm.
So follow us there. But I think it's time we go ahead and move into our juice box segment, which is what are we listening to right now?
All right.
I don't remember which one of us went first last time, but
I don't know. We'll tally that
I
down
feel
this
like it
time.
was me. I feel like it was me, so you go
Okay, so I'll
first.
go first. So what I've been listening to very heavily, especially or since it dropped, is let me calm down and make sure I say the name correctly. No, because I don't want to mess this up because he's already made a song about this, and I just and I every time I think about it, I'm like, I don't want to mess up this man's name because he made a song about it, and now because I am thinking about that, I always accidentally mess up his name because I'm trying not to.
Okay, Kinsey.
No.
By the way, it's Keshi. For anyone, for
Oh
anyone who was
my
listening to the last
gosh.
episode, we put it in the
Uh,
show notes correctly. Obviously, it's Keshi, but
It was a
it's
new
okay. I'm not trying to
artist. It was
drag.
a new artist. I
Yeah.
did not realize that I was saying it. I literally had just started listening to him, and then I was just like, "Did I say Kinsey?" And I definitely did it. And I did not just say it once. I doubled back, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I
Oh,
really,
his name was Kinsey. His name was Kinsey
uh,
for that moment, baby. His name was Kinsey, but it's
Keshi. Oh
Keshi.
my god, Keshi.
A little too close to Kesha, but
Uh,
a little.
okay, but I've been listening to K-Tronime, the new album.
Ketramine,
I
bitch.
do. I told you. I told you. I told you. And I literally have been practicing.
Ketramine.
I have been practicing this all day. I have been practicing the right pronunciation of this all day just for me to mess it up. Anyways, I'm not gonna say it again. I'm just gonna say I can say Amine. Amine. I mean, I
Uh-huh.
really enjoy that album. Like, I'm not gonna pick just one song.
Uh-huh.
I've just been listening to the album, and it's just like a duo that you expect it to collaborate together, but also at the same time, you're like, what actually is this gonna sound like? And so that's
Mhm.
just what I've been bumping. And I'm just like, it definitely feels like that summer jam. They really were just like, we about to drop this, and the girlies are about to dance down to it. And I'm the girlies. It is me. I am she.
Nice. I gave that album a listen as well. I've only listened once, and that's not shade. That's the only time I've gotten around to it. But I enjoyed it as well. Like it was very much just a smooth ride. Is it in your head right now? Is it in the headphones?
It's not in the headphones. That would be crazy if I was actually listening to it while talking.
Right.
No, I'm just like thinking of it. I was just thinking of the vibe of it and thinking of some of the songs just now. And I was just like,
Uh-huh.
honestly, I cannot wait to just go outside somewhere and just like dance to this freely.
Yeah, it's very much like giving like a daylight, daytime,
Mm-hmm.
like go out fucking dance, like I don't know, just like a good mood, good vibe type of album. So
Right.
that's awesome. I listened to Positions, the album by
Really?
Ariana recently. Like,
Wow.
not for the first
No,
time,
of course not
obviously,
for the
but
first time. I
like
mean, that'd be a little embarrassing.
got my damn life. I even listened to the deluxe version, and usually I
Oh.
haven't gotten into the deluxe tracks, but I was like, you know what? I'm so thirsty for some more Ariana that I'm down. But other than that, I've really been like checking out Jada G lately.
Jada
Jada
G.
G. She is a DJ. But
Oh.
her music is like it's house, but
Mm-hmm.
it's very like chill and jazzy and soulful. It's definitely a different lane of house than I'm like used to hearing, and
Mm-hmm.
I've just been like playing it a lot, just kind of like, how do I feel about this? I think I like it.
We
So,
love DJs. DJs are in the up and up right now. Like,
oh, definitely, definitely. And I'm just like, she's cool. Like she's got a cool vibe. Like you just look at pictures of her. She's like, I feel like she's if like Solange was a DJ. Like
oh,
that's
oh,
her.
Solange DJing with Eat.
Okay, you better check out Jada G.
I bet Solange would eat on the fucking turntables. But Jada G, I'm already down. The name sounds good. I love the, um, you know what? I just love the way it sounds.
Perfect. All right, well, let's talk about why we are fucking here. We are here because there is ample samples
Ample
in the
samples.
radio, in the music industry
And
right now.
literally so much. A plethora.
A plethora, an abundance, an overabundance.
Overabundance.
So we want to talk about that. We want to talk about what's going on in the sample realm with the music industry. What's successful? What's not successful? What does it take to
Right.
have or to utilize a sample successfully? I almost
Exactly.
got tongue twisted on that. I was like,
I was like, oh my god, the S's are coming out. Like they came out and you know what, you held it together.
I got it. I got it. I got it. Yeah. So let's just talk about the state of things. Let's just
Right.
start there.
And
Okay. Like we said, samples are everywhere.
right. I feel like all of the new songs that have been dropping from the rappers, but even the singers now as of late, like it's just sample after sample after sample after sample. And it's just like, okay, is anybody gonna make anything original anymore? Or are we just gonna pull from 10 years ago?
Right. Right. Yes. And it's like it's feels so much like a marketing gimmick right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yeah,
It's like,
definitely.
oh, well, there's been like so many songs that have been successful just because they're pulling from, older songs and people recognize that. So make sure you have a sample in your
Exactly.
song. And it's just
Exactly.
like,
It's just like a
like it was,
ploy to like get people to actually
yeah.
initially listen, because it's very much so like, for instance, like on TikTok, how they're like, oh, you have to catch people in that first 5 minutes, so you have to just say something outrageous or do something outrageous or say something that's like so open ended that people are like, oh, I'm gonna keep watching because you have me hooked. I feel like that's
Hmm.
what's happening with samples. Like it's so recognizable that you're like, well, let's see what they're gonna do with the sample because you already know what the
Right.
song is.
Right. It's like they're letting the sample do all the heavy lifting.
And yes, and that was why, like, I was gonna segue into asking you, like, what do you think, like, just in general, how do you think that like someone gets away with sampling something and it being good?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. I think the key to a successful sample is you really need to make something new.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The problem I have with so many samples right now, and I will list them when we get there,
Mm-hmm.
but the problem I have is that it's like 90% the song they're
Mm-hmm.
sampling,
Mm-hmm.
10% something new.
Mm-hmm.
And like, no, 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 no. I think of like Kanye West, who was like, obviously canceled, but but when you go back to like his discography and
Mm-hmm.
everything that Kanye West became famous for, even just his producing,
Mm-hmm.
outside of his own music, it all thrived off of like creating samples, and he would create samples from soul music and things like
Mm-hmm.
that all of a sudden they sound totally different. They sound
Exactly.
because they're in a new context. I think
Exactly.
that's the word, the context.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in a new context. It can't
Like, give me
be the
something new.
same.
And
Yes.
I feel like
It's
I'm just piggybacking off of what you said. I was thinking about it today, and I was like, because I asked myself that question, and I was like, you know what? All of my good samples that I am gonna list later is gonna be because the sample was not the star. Like the sample wasn't the star of the
mhm,
track. It was the embellishment. It was like I
mhm.
could have done this without the sample, but
Mhm.
the sample just added to what was already there. It's just like they're letting the samples, like you said, 90% of the song is a sample, and it's just doing the heavy lifting. And
Mhm.
on top of that, I also think that a lot of the samples that are being used as of late, it's just you're also using like very recognizable samples, like
Yeah.
almost
That was
painfully recognizable, where either the song is just so it's been used in commercials or in TV or something so much to the point that people just know it for that reason, or it became or it was a hit, like it was a top hit. And so it's like
Mhm.
people have a hard time disassociating what
Mhm.
that's original song from the newer one. And I definitely think it's because of the age of social media and like the way we stream music now, because maybe I had to like step back and look at some of these songs, and I'm just like, in actuality, like these samples that people are using are about 15 to 20 years to even older. Like some of them are old samples. It's not that like someone just made this song 5 years ago. But I think
Mhm.
that because like I think elder millennials have they're on TikTok, they still have access to like new music, whereas before, you know, our parents and like older people may not have had the access because they weren't listening to the radio stations like that. They weren't in school going to the dances and stuff like that. So they kind of phased out. So like when artists started using samples that they may have known, they may not have even heard that song. They may not even know that that song existed. Whereas
Mhm.
now, almost every new song that's being put out, we're consuming. Everybody's consuming. So it's just like
Yeah.
it's just too recognizable sometimes, and I don't
Yeah.
think that that makes for a successful use of a sample.
Right. And that is the very point of what they're doing. Like we said, like it's trying to bring people in, letting the sample do the work. But you run into that double-edged sword of like,
Hmm.
oh, I recognize that, but bitch, I recognize that.
Like
Like
I
it's like
actually recognize that.
I already know that fucking song and you're just doing the song again.
Like it's been times where I've heard someone sample something so blatantly, and I'm just like, now I want to go listen to that song. Like now I'm not paying
Right.
attention to what you're doing. Now I'm just like, well, God,
Mhm.
I just want to go listen to this song now.
Right. And there are like, some things that I have to try to like take stock of is
Hmm.
just like, okay, well what about what was being sampled when I was young?
Exact.
You know?
And I.
And
Hmm.
I like I think of Kanye again
Hmm.
because a lot of those songs, like they're not from my generation. Also,
Hmm.
I grew up in like a small ass town in Texas with to a white family. Like I did not hear these like soulful ass songs that
Right.
he's sampling. So a lot of the times, like I'll be listening to I don't know, like Pandora or something, just playing stuff, or
Hmm.
I'll hear something in the thing, and I'll be like, "That's the Kanye song," and then I'm like,
Yep.
wait a second. Wait, no.
Yep.
Oh shit, that's the
That.
sample. I found the sample. Like half the time I didn't even know it was a sample. I'm just like,
Exactly.
"Oh, he made it sound like that." Like, no, bitch, he literally took a piece. So I'm like, okay, is there some bias going on
Hmm.
because all of these songs that are being used now, I recognize them even though
Exactly.
maybe they were just as recognizable before, just not for my generation. Like I I think
And it's
it's both.
hard. I think it's, and I think that that's why I made that point. I'm just like, the access to music is a lot more different than what it was like when we were younger. Like we
Yeah.
didn't necessarily have access to that music that they were sampling, because if
Right.
we just did not know it and we did not have it and our parents did not play it, we just did not know. And there are some
Mhm.
songs that like are from our generation where I've heard now like randomly in a store or something, and I've heard and I'm like, oh, this is such and so. What? What is this? And it's
Yeah,
like, oh
right.
shit, this is a sample.
Like you're late as fuck,
So like
bitch.
that's why I do give it grace. Like I'm gonna say I'm giving this grace because I'm just like, I understand that like these songs are old. Like they're old.
Mhm.
Like they're not new fresh songs. They just feel fresh because the access, and like the people that are using them I feel like were maybe little kids when the song came out. So they even still know them because there's still like a lot of Gen Z. Some of these newer ones that I'm gonna name, they know these
Mhm.
samples. They know the original song. Like they know the song.
Right. Right.
So,
And a lot of like you kind of mentioned this, but just like on TikTok. Like we also talked about it in our TikTok episode how
mhm.
all of these old songs pop up on TikTok. So it's
Right,
like they actually do it. Like I'm thinking off the top of my head right now, I'm thinking of First Class by Jack Harlow.
exactly.
Glamorous. Okay, Glamorous by Fergie. That came out when like I was in like middle school because that's when the Duchess
Mhm.
came out. And I feel like Gen Z and some younger, maybe not all of them,
Mhm.
but they recognize
They know
Glamorous.
Glamorous. Like,
It's like I feel like they know it's a sample, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm out of touch. I don't know, but like I feel like they know.
I can understand if like Glamorous there, that was also on my list. That was one of my samples that I felt like was done good. Like, I felt like it was
Yeah,
fine.
I
I
it's
think
in my good list
it's
too.
in my good
And
list. So,
because it's a piece.
mhm.
It's a piece of the song. And just like another thing about samples is sometimes, and this can be really effective too, it's more like taking literal
Mhm.
pieces, not a chunk of the
Right.
song. Like you literally will take, oh, that I like that drum fill. I'm gonna take that little drum fill. I'm
Mhm.
gonna take this little horn
Mhm.
thing that they're doing right here, and you make something brand new out
Right.
of it. So sometimes samples are used in a way that you will never pick up. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
obviously, unless you're like looking and or the song they're sampling so well that you're like, oh, I recognize that drum fill.
Mhm.
But that's like a huge part of like hip hop sampling. Sampling in hip hop,
Mhm.
like it's been out of hand forever. And
Right.
I don't say out of hand in a bad way, but just like it's been
It's
happening. Like
happening. It
that's
happens all the time.
all the time. So many songs that I've listened to from my childhood that are rap songs. Again, I'm like, "Bleh, I had
Right.
no fucking idea." So
It's just
like,
like, baby, sample. We know. You know what? Let's break it down into a way that the girls will already know. Because I'm like, the girls are gonna listen to this and they're gonna be like, I'm confused. Like, what do you mean? Like, just use a sample if it's a sample, girl. When you go to the mall, when you go to the mall and they give you that sample and they're holding that tray, baby, you can't take that tray. You're not allowed to take the tray, baby. You gotta go and you gotta take your little toothpick and you gotta eat a little bit. And if you want some more, you gotta go get more. But they're not giving you a plate calling it a sample. Some of you girls are out here giving a whole Thanksgiving feast and calling it a sample. And all you brought to the table was the ice for the goddamn.
no, not you making me clip. I'm laughing so hard. No. No, but that is perfect. That is the perfect example. That's the
Oh
perfect
my
example.
god, I need to
Literally,
stop.
like, okay, I want to touch on that. I want to expand on that because something I want to clarify also for people,
Mhm.
because people may not know, like there's samples and we use that term kind of broadly, but
Mhm.
there's also interpolations.
Mhm.
Interpolations kind of get brushed under samples and called the same thing, but they are different.
Mhm.
So to go off of that, a sample would be you go to the plate, you take the little crackers and cheese and
Mhm.
ham, and you say, "Bop! I just took that as it is, bop."
Right.
An interpolation would be, "Ooh, that looks good. I
Mhm.
really like that." You go home, you make your version of the same thing.
Oh.
Okay? You make your
Oh
crackers
baby.
cheese. You say, "Oh, I like those ingredients," and you make your own.
Oh
Okay?
baby. You just broke that down. You just broke that down, baby.
Okay, so
Sonic
like,
Juice, honestly, y'all come have dinner at our house cuz Sonic Juice, we
okay,
understand how to do this.
it's crackers and cheese for everybody. Charcuterie, bitch. Charcuterie.
You will sample. It'll be a feast of samples.
Yes. Yes, like you're at Costco, bitch. Costco.
I hate you. I hate it. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So I feel like we talked about samples a lot.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like we gave a good
Well, I mean,
idea.
that's what we're here for,
Right. Like
bitch.
we definitely talked about like in general what we think
Yeah.
what the goods
Let's
and the bads are about a sample. So now let's like give the girls some examples. And I want to say,
let's break it
do
down.
we want to start with the good or do we want to start with the bad?
I feel like if we say what our good ones are
Mm-hmm.
first, we're giving away what the bad ones
Oh,
will
that's so
be.
true. Very true. All right. All right. All right. So,
Let's just get into it. This is the juice,
right.
right?
Let's just
No
do.
pun intended, but this is the juice from the fruit that we want to squeeze out. Y'all want to hear it? We're gonna give it to you. The worst fucking I like to say the most egregious samples. Egregious. Get your SAT words. Like we're here fucking. You're at
Egregious.
Sonic Juice School right now.
Honestly,
Okay,
we
classes in
you're gonna
session.
classes in session. We are already cooked up what you needed for lunch. The
Okay,
lunch hour, like we've set
bitch.
that out. Your sample table is already set, but you got to go to class first. Like, you gotta hit first, second, third period, maybe.
That's right.
All right.
Sorry.
So why don't you do yours first? You do your first
Okay.
bad ones, and then I will piggyback off of you.
Let me look at my notes. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Worst, most egregious.
Oh, no.
Just stop.
Oh no.
Just stop these samples. Okay. Here's where we're gonna start, because this one I fucking hate. I really do. I really fucking hate it. Like, sorry, I know music is subjective
Right.
and opinionated. So, like, obviously, you can like this. You can go enjoy
Right.
your
You can come
day.
for our necks. It's fine. You'll
But
be
it's not for
wrong,
me.
but you can still
Nope.
come for our neck.
It's not for me. So, y'all know this fucking song, and you know what? He did it twice. I'm gonna talk about one song first, but he did this shit twice. Mr. Guetta, Mr. David Guetta, okay, featuring BB Rexa, and they wanted to say "I'm good" in parentheses blue. I'm good in parentheses blue. They had to put in parentheses blue in the fucking title because, bitch, that's what the song is.
Oh
Okay,
my god.
we all know the song "Blue Dabba Dee." I'm blue dabba dee dabba, and they want to come up here. This is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. This song, I'm good, I'm feeling all right, but it's the same
Like-
song. Okay, so the production is the same.
Mhm.
They just added a little bit more synths, added maybe
Baby.
pick the tempo up a little bit, and then fucking even the melody is the same. So I'm like, what did you bring to this song?
Absolutely
You brought
nothing.
absolutely nothing to the table. Absolutely nothing to the table. And then this motherfucker wanted to do it again. This motherfucker wanted to do it again with "Baby Don't Hurt Me"
Yes.
with Anne Marie and Coi Leray.
First of all, the weirdest. Let me just say let me just put a pin in this, and let me just point this out right now. David Guetta will put anybody on these goddamn EDM tracks.
Anybody.
And it's the weirdest like mix of people on these collaboration tracks, because what are those two doing on the same track? Like, what is going on?
Look, he said, "I need
Like-
help. I need anybody I could get."
David
Can
Guetta's
y'all
like,
come help
listen,
me?"
I'm just on the turntables, I'm pressing buttons and spinning things around. Can y'all just do whatever y'all do on here? I'm not listening
I
to
heard-
y'all as an art. I don't know how the hell y'all sound, but I looked on the Hot 100 and you're here and you're here. So can you get here and do this so I can put this out there?
Right. So that song, if you can't guess from the fucking title, samples "What Is Love" by Hadaway, which came out in 1993. "Blue Dabba Dee" came out in 1998. I'm going to talk
Damn.
about the years that a lot of these samples came out, because you'll notice some trends. But yeah,
Oh, damn,
so
I
it
didn't
samples
put-
"What Is Love," and it's literally, again, like it's the bup, 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 bup. They're taking the beat.
Mhm.
Then they're also taking the chorus and the
Mhm.
melody. So what are we left with, Mr. Guetta?
You know.
Please. Also, can we do a side note here?
Yeah.
Okay. You know who sings "What Is Love"? His name is Hadaway.
I don't know him, but
You know. Okay. Okay. Tell me if this gags you, because I was gagged.
gag me.
Hadaway.
Mm-hmm.
Hadaway. You know the song "What Is Love."
What is up?
Thank you for listening to Sonic Juice. It's been a great episode. You can catch us on. Okay. All right. Fix your face. Get
Okay.
gagged.
Okay.
Hadaway is black. I knew it. Right. Now that song is the white man anthem.
What?
I never would have guessed.
I
never would have guessed.
I am gaggeth.
If we didn't do this
Gagatha
episode,
Christie.
I never would have learned.
Gagatha Christie, because honestly, you cannot convince me, even though you said that and you've looked up the facts and you will show me a picture, I'm gonna disagree with you. I don't care. It's incorrect. Like, what?
Yeah,
And the thing is, like, I don't. It's one of those songs, like we said, that's just one of those songs that's just around. I don't even know why I know that song. I don't know why I know it. I just know I do. I can't.
I mean, it became huge in the the Bill and Ted? Was it Bill and Ted? No. It's one of those white boy 80s comedies and they do the head thing. Like, it's such a white song. I'm just gagged. I'm just a little
very
gagged
gagged.
today.
I'm very gagged. But you know what? black people back then were still making electronic music. Like they were, you just don't know. And it's
Right.
like I remember somebody did like a Twitter thread about like black people in electronic music that we did
Hmm.
not know were black people. And I can't even think of the songs right now, but it's songs that we just know, and they're just like black, black,
Yeah.
black. And I'm just like, excuse my face? But I live for
So
that.
I have a few more that I'm gonna list and not go too much into
Okay.
detail. Okay, so I don't want to drag this song. I don't hate this song, but I think it's a good example of what's going on. Tap In by Saweetie.
You know,
Now,
sweetie,
Saweetie
she's the one.
has
She
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 had to
started
be
the
here.
twin. She
She
started the
had to be here.
trend.
She came to the party because yeah, she literally threw the party. Like
Mm-hmm. She put the invitation out there,
she
baby.
every song she puts out has a sample. And
Every
some of them
single one.
and they thrive off the sample.
They
Like
do.
it is the sample that makes the song. And
Mm-hmm.
that is more or less true for other tracks, but I think very true for this one. It's sampling Blow the Whistle by Too Short,
Which
which
is
came out in
the
2006.
black anthem, baby.
I mean, so we take the beat, she changes the flow, so that's nice, but it's like she literally even takes like the what's my favorite word part and then
Right.
just but does it worse because I want to go bitch and she's
Exactly.
like I don't know, like money,
And
like I don't know what she
I
says.
cannot tell you the amount of times that I have been out and I hear that dun, 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 and I'm like, oh shit, blow the whistle. Tap,
Blow the
tap,
whistle.
tap it.
Okay.
Okay,
So you may
girl.
as well listen to the original. And then
Right.
we've got Stayin' Alive, DJ Khaled featuring Drake. This is an interpolation. This is a great example of an interpolation. You have Drake going, staying alive.
Just like
Okay, stop. Like y'all all got on that fucking track. Someone else is on it. I forgot to write them down. Little Baby.
DJ
Either way,
Khaled is another one. It's just I'm going
it's
to close my eyes and point to a list of rappers and I'm gonna put them on a track. And it's gonna have one or two Jay-Z features. It's gonna have 17 Drake features. And after that, I don't care if your name is LMNOP. If you rap, you will be on this stage.
it's just like it's literally it just screams like numbers grab like
Mm-hmm.
oh everyone's doing this let's sample like what's a song that everyone knows oh stay it alive oh and then you got Drake like
Like,
he doesn't even sound like he fucking gives one
like
fuck about it
that's
just
crazy
collecting the
for
check.
Drake to be singing that part. That's crazy.
It's so crazy, it's so weak, put it away. And lastly we have Betty Get Money by Young Gravy which samples samples Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. The fucking Rickroll song. Okay, that's 1987. Also, Staying Alive came out 1977. But Betty Get Money, what you're not about to do is defend Betty Get Money. That shit is... It's a leaning entirely on the sample. The chorus is the fucking same...
Damn, gravy is so delicious. I'm telling you, I literally just like I told you when you told me about this. I'm just like, I'm sorry. This song is so bad that I like it. Like it's so bad that I'm just like, I have to like if I'm not having a good day, like I gotta turn on Mr. Gravy. Like I'm turned on Gravy and pouring
Mr.
him over my biscuit.
Gravy.
Like
Mr. Gravy, like that's his fucking teacher name. Mr. Gravy, can I use the bathroom?
man,
Oh my god! But that's all of my like. Listen to those songs. We'll put every song we mentioned in the show notes,
Right.
and you'll go, okay.
Tread with
I'll
caution.
even try to put like what the sample is in there. So
Tread with
there's gonna be a
caution,
lot of
bro.
links. But
Right.
tread with caution, shit. So what are yours?
Okay, so I'm gonna go backwards, but I'm gonna basically ask for me to say my last one and segue into the good because you'll understand why. And I think you already know
Okay.
where I'm going with this. But anyways, so I'm gonna start with the one. It's probably one of the more recent songs that's been dropped. And when I heard it, I was like, oh, we're in sample hell. We are in sample hell.
Okay,
Like
I know exactly what you're about to
I
say
knew
because I put that on my list, but I
yes.
saw your list and I
Yes.
was like, well, he'll
I was
talk
just
about
like,
it.
we are in Sample Hill. Literally, the song Dogs, I Shall Speed. I literally was like, what in the entire hell? Like, what is going on? Like, what? I literally, my mouth dropped open when I first heard this song, and I was like, what actually is going on today in today's world? Like, that was when I text you, and I was like, we're in sample hell. We are
It's so
in
bad.
sample hell because, like, who let the dogs out? Like, why is that song even needing to be used again? Like,
It's not.
it
No one wants to hear that again. Like,
aside from
leave
the
it where it was.
actual song. Like,
No, I
it has been
no, I don't even
like,
want to hear
and
the
I'm just
actual
like,
song. Like,
and
leave it
like,
where it
leave it
was.
where it
I'm
was.
not
We
going
don't
back.
need to. And I was like, who let the dogs out? That was the one time that I heard a sample and I didn't go back because I was like, I don't need to go back to that song. Like, it did what it did when it came out, and that's where it belonged. It belonged in that
It
time.
it
It
was a cute song to
right.
promote the Rugrats
And I
movie.
honestly was just like, y'all, I know that I know the Baha men are just like, well, I'll be god motherfucking I'll be
Oh man.
goddamned because they really thought that they were gonna be done with that song. They really thought that it got us the money that it got us. But you know what? The girl said, "I have no more original ideas," and said, "Who let the dogs out? We're going to
And
let them out again." They're like,
the flow is so mismatched.
I just don't get
So
it.
mismatched from the
I don't
beat.
get
Like
it.
it is
And I was
it
just like,
is
maybe again, maybe
unreal.
it's getting out of touch because the girls might be listening to it, but I'm like, I'm sorry, no. So that's one. I only have three. I had a list of them, but I brought it down to three. The second one, sorry, baby girl, I'm sorry we've been coming for you today, but like Miss Coyle
Uh-oh.
Ray, like Miss Coyle Ray, like Miss Coyle Ray with the song "My Body." I
Wait a
cannot
minute.
even. And the sample, if you guys don't know, it's My Party from Leslie Gore, by Leslie Gore. And I didn't look. I'm not. I wasn't as efficient as Tyler. I didn't look up the dates, but you know what? The picture's in sepia, so it's giving me 17th century. So I'm like, it's not even the fact that this song is not like fresh and like just 10 years ago, but it's just like, come on, it was very lazy. It's my body, I can fuck who I want, like, come
I kind of
on.
live. I kind of live. I was
Yeah.
listening to that from your short list, and I was like,
uh,
you know what? At least it's a new idea.
it's
And
not a new idea, it's
like she took
not
she's interpolating the melody, obviously, but at least the lyrics go in a different direction from "It's
they
my party, I can
do.
cry" to "It's my body, I can fuck who I want."
I mean,
It's
honestly, if you're gonna give her that, then you gotta give BB Rexa and David Guetta because they at least they changed their words too. So I'm just like, if that's
no,
what we're doing,
no, no,
then that's what
no.
we're doing. Honestly, it's giving. I was drunk. This beat came on, and I'm gonna freestyle sing something that comes to my mind, and that actually works. So let's put it on a track.
Look, it's not quality, but I didn't hate it.
Oh, I don't hate it. That's why it wasn't that's why I wasn't at the bottom of the list. But I do feel like it was just like unneeded. Like I was like, okay, girl, well, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then the last one, I'm so sorry to do it to my baby. I'm so sorry to do my baby boy, but I love you. I love you down. But Booty by Saucy Santana, I just was like,
Really?
no, I'm sorry. When it dropped, I literally remember texting one of our mutuals and I was like, why is he doing this? Like, why is he using that sample? I am so sorry. You use the sample that was made popular by Beyonce for Crazy in Love. I'm like, Beyonce's still on stage. She's literally on stage right now. And I'm like,
Doing that song.
everybody knows. I was like, that was a ploy if I have ever seen one. That was the biggest
Yeah.
ploy because I'm like, you cannot tell me that when you hear that da 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 da, no one's thinking about anything but Crazy in Love. I'm waiting for Beyonce to stomp across that stage with her wind fucking fans on, her hair blowing, and ask, "You ready?" That's what I'm waiting to hear. And then I heard booty, booty, booty,
Right.
booty. I was like, wait,
But again, I feel like they took like
I'm telling you right now, Tyler, no. Not at the bottom of my list. Again, it wasn't as bad, but I'm gonna tell you why I put it on the bad list because I don't want to hear that song anymore. Like I listened to it one time and I was like, I don't want to hear that. I went and listened to Crazy in Love because I was just like,
yeah.
that's giving me it's giving the same sassy attitude, but I'm just like, I feel like in that particular sense, you kind of shot yourself in the foot because it's just way too known and it's way too
Mhm.
iconic and too legendary of a sample are the sample. The song is legendary, and it was used on such one of her biggest breakout hits. So it's just like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you kind of did yourself a disservice because people were kind of just like, I mean, you used the Beyonce song, and like, as much as I was
And you're
like,
not Beyonce.
right,
Like, no shade. You're
right,
just
and
not.
I was
No
just
one is.
like, and it's just like, girl, what? And like, again, for me, I was just like, I just feel like you could have came up with something original, like especially Saucy Santana. I was like, you didn't need that. Like you've already gotten your traction. Like people already love you. Like you didn't really need that to tell the truth. And so I kind of feel like it just did you a disservice because now what happened is, for me at least, but what I think
Mm-hmm.
actually happened because this song didn't do well at all. It was just like you did that and people expected you to give bars and to give the same caliber of performance and same caliber of lyricism as Beyonce did. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, I'm gonna use the sample made popular by Beyonce. Okay, then you need to come the fuck with it. And it just was like, it's good, but it's not needed. And
Yeah. I mean, I hated it less than the Coil Ray one. And for me, like, I appreciate that the sample is just like a piece of the chorus. The whole rest of the song is different. They didn't take any of the melody or anything in the words. It's so it's like, who else got the burr, 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 and this doop doop
yeah,
doop
and that's why I
doop
was
doop
like,
doop.
it's good.
Like,
It's good that you use a different song or like different words, and you didn't like try to do the melody. I do like that, which is why I'm like, it's not the worst. But for me, it just did not roll over because I'm just like, as soon as I hear those horns, I'm just like, it just didn't make sense. I didn't understand it,
mhm.
and I just was like, especially if you only use that little bit of that little bit of a sample, just make another sound. Like, just do something else.
But at least it was a queer person.
And
To if
I
you're gonna
do.
sample
That's
Crazy in
fine.
Love,
That's
you know what I
fine.
mean?
Right. And I'm just like, was I kind of looking forward to Beyonce maybe mixing that in to the Renaissance tour? Possibly. But she probably was like, girl, no, I'm not doing that. She
My
probably
song
didn't
is
even listen
better.
to it. But anyways, the reason why I was like, can I just segue into my good? Because Beyonce's Crazy in Love is at the top of my
Right.
good list because, and I'm gonna tell you why. So the sample for people who do not know is "Are You My Woman? Tell Me So" by the Shy Lights. And I can't remember the date for this one either, but I remember
Mhm.
when I found out that Crazy. Oh, I looked it up because of Booty. When Booty came out, I was just like, why are you sampling Beyonce song? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, Beyonce's sampling a song here. And I went to
Right.
that song and I was like, okay, cool. I think that why Beyonce's Crazy in Love worked. I do know for a fact that that song is older. But I also think the reason why that sample worked so well is because it was not a sample that is so well known and so
Mhm.
recognizable. Because she
Mhm.
basically did like she pulled the entire, like pretty much the entire song for Crazy in Love, but it just was not recognizable. Even like I remember looking at like, just the history of how popular it became. It was not a big song. Like it was not a huge song of its time. It was just one of those songs
And
that
that's
I
that's perfect.
right,
That's where you want to reach into.
exactly. And so that's why Crazy in Love is at the top of my list. I'm gonna
Okay.
stop
Did
there.
you want to
No, 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 no. I'm gonna let you keep going because I've literally now at this point I feel like I'm monologuing. So like I'm gonna stop there because it's my top one, and then I'm gonna let you
Okay.
go, and then you can come back to me.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with some recent ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a list of some like iconic ones that I'll touch on. But recent, I want to go to this one because it kind of touches on what you were just talking about, which is the sample chain. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I apologize to people ahead of time because the album the song came off of is not really doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. I think it's a pretty good album. And also the song's not seem to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. People just aren't looking for Ray Sremmurd anymore. But
Right.
I am talking about Sexy by Ray Sremmurd.
Yeah.
Okay. I love this song. The second I heard it, like I was just giving their album a listen
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, like I have to save it. It's like, "Born, don't ca- don't ca- dun- dun ca," like
It's
it's
so
so
good.
90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And he's like, you could tell I think I'm sexy. And I was like, looking up samples and stuff, realized that was a sample, and I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
is it really? It's taking the beat from Nasty Dancer by
Mm-hmm.
Kilo, which came out in 1995. It's very much like one of those underground house tracks,
Mm-hmm.
black artists on the song, so it's like popping off in a way that, with a little more spice and a little more flavor than some of the 90s house things that come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that song is interpolating Private Dancer by Tina Turner, which came out in 1984.
Yeah.
So in Nasty Dancer, that's where the beat for Sexy comes from.
Mm-hmm.
But then in Nasty Dancer, they're saying, I'm your nasty dancer, do 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 da. And then and Tina Turner, she's like, I'm your private dancer. Like it's
I
like
love
so
that.
this is such a moment for like hip hop. Like this is how this shit works. Like it goes in this
Mm-hmm.
fucking chain where it's like we're taking pieces, we're taking little bits, and I knew right away listening to this song, I didn't know it was a sample, but I was like, ooh, this sounds so 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it does. That's where
Right.
the beat comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So listen to that one. That's a great song. And then another recent one, I'm That Girl by Beyonce. And here's exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
Listen, I was just about to say Renaissance within itself, but you know what? Go ahead.
Okay,
Go.
yes,
Do your thing.
yes.
Do your
Literally,
thing. Do your
you can
thing.
say this for almost all of Renaissance. But okay, so I'm That Girl. She takes
Oh my God, yes.
literally the words from the song Still Pimpin' by
Mhm.
Tommy Wright III featuring Princess Loco and Mac T-Dog from 1994. Again, the 90s are fucking in, y'all. I don't know if you've noticed
I live
yet.
for the.
The 90s are here. So she takes the words that's just part of the flow and the rap, and then she just fucking is like, okay, well, let's make that the beat now. And it's just
Mhm.
like, there's beat behind it too, but again, she's taking a song that people are not going to instantly recognize unless you're from a very specific scene, which is the point. But also, she's like, I'm not going to take what this track gave me and use it the way the track gave it to me.
Mhm.
I'm going to use it differently. And that makes shit successful.
Exactly.
So she did the same thing on America Has a Problem.
Like-
Another 1990 Kilo song. Kilo, who did Nasty Dancer,
Yes.
that Ray Stremberg sampled. We mentioned First Class. And then Out of Time by The Weeknd. I didn't send you the sample.
You did
the
not
reference.
send me the sample. I didn't even know that song was sampled.
I didn't either, but baby, that whole beat is basically a sample that
What?
his melody is his own, but the ba-da-bum, da-da, da-da-da-da-da, that all comes from a song from 1983 called Midnight Pretenders by Tomoko Aran.
Wow.
Tomoko Aran is like a Japanese singer.
I kind of live for that.
It's yes, so literally the beat, he like didn't change a piece of it, but he made it, this R&B cool synthy song where it started out as this Japanese like lounge pop song.
Right.
That's amazing. You take something that people aren't even familiar with and you just give it a whole brand new life. Okay? So those are my recents. I'm going to let you talk a little bit more before I list off some of the more iconic ones.
Okay. So I have some. I only have 3-ish. Nope. I have 4 more left. So I'm gonna breeze past First Class by Jack Harlow because we've already talked about it like 10 times. But I definitely want to shed light on this, and I don't even think this is a sample. This could just be this just could be me and my stand-up and just wanting to bring her up just because. But one thing you're never gonna do. One thing you're never gonna do is say that SZA did not sample herself because you know what?
I knew this was coming.
That is the iconic way to do it. If you go and sample,
that is iconic.
you sample your goddamn self. And so SZA was like,
Okay.
let me tell you something. Love Language, right at the end, she was like, all that I know. When I say we were gagging, like people were gagging because I was like, not you sampled yourself. That
and it's amazing.
is a gag.
That's really good because first off, you don't got to worry about someone clearing it,
Right?
For what? Because y'all wonder why like hip hop albums get like delayed.
Exactly.
And shit. Most of the time, it's because hip hop is so sample heavy and shit does not get cleared.
Stuff don't get fucking cleared. Like it doesn't get cleared, and I'm just like, listen.
But that's iconic, and it's iconic that she used a song that wasn't like an album track. It was literally just a single. So she was like, let me bring this from the single floating world, the limbo world, and bring it into the album. And it also was
not received, like Hit Different wasn't received as well. Like people were very much so on the fence about it. And so it wasn't like one of her successful singles. Well, it wasn't successful by her standards. And so I love that she was like, "Oh, you girls didn't want to bring this to the top, but I know I got something for you asses. I like this song." So she's a fucking Mac. How about that? So we have that, and then we have I put in One Direction Best Song Ever. I didn't know this is one of those songs that I found out that was a sample because I was like in the
Mhm.
store and I kept hearing this song and I was just like, why does this melody sound so fucking familiar? Like the whole song just sounded like I've heard it before. And lo and behold, it was Baba O'Reilly by The Who. And it's One Direction redid the best song ever, or redid it with the best song ever. So basically, the beat it has a little more like drums and whatever. They added a little more production to it, but it's
Mhm.
basically the beat from Bob O'Reilly. And they just sang over it. They changed the melodies and whatnot. So I thought that was kind of cool because I was like, damn, I didn't know that. And then my
Yeah.
last one that I really, really loved, and this one is still, it's new, but it's not new. Redbone by Childish Gambino. So he
Ooh.
sampled "I'd Rather Be With You" by Bootsy's Rubber Band, and that was a basically it was Bootsy Collins and I didn't write the
Ooh.
people's names down, but it was a joint album that they did or like a joint project that they did, and he
Mhm.
just sampled like a little piece of it, and I just think first of all I just love Childish. Like I think that Childish does a great job with like producing. And I think that he does that a lot too. Like he hides a lot of sampling in his music. And so
Mhm.
it was just not like it wasn't the star of the track at all, but it was still a sample. Like there were just little bits of that song in there. So those are mine. Like I think those are good examples of
Nice.
samples. And I think that
Do you
again,
know like what could you like sing the
it was the
part or
like that was like
oh, okay,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, do you did you
I
forget
was
that
like,
song?
where
Daylight. No, it's just
I just had to think of like what part of the song you were singing, but it's the
yeah. It's
beginning.
just yeah.
Bum, 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 bum,
Mm-hmm.
bum, bum, bum.
So
Yeah.
those are mine. And again, I feel like
Okay.
the ones that I picked, I was like, these are aside from Scissors because iconic, but like they're just songs that you're just like, oh, I didn't really know that song, and I would have never really listened to it, or
Exactly.
I would have never like found it had someone not told me it
Right.
was a sample.
Right. Now, some of these I'm about to list that are iconic,
Mm-hmm.
they come from very heavily recognized songs. They
Mm-hmm.
sample heavily recognized songs, but they did it fucking right.
Right.
Okay. So first off, this has got to be number one.
Mm-hmm.
Hung Up by Madonna.
Yes.
Okay. Sampling Gimme 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 by ABBA.
I almost put that on my list. I literally was so close to putting that on my list.
She ate that fucker up. She used the same, the what even is that? What are those instruments?
Uh,
It sounds like a fucking whistle.
don't.
Um, but it eats, and she gives it its own life
Mm-hmm.
because you listen to ABBA song and it definitely sounds dated, but you
Mm-hmm.
listen to Hung Up and it sounds very modern
Like very
still. Still
fresh.
sounds like it could have been made today. And she
Especially,
also,
yeah.
I forgot to write down what song it was, but there's a song she did with Prince.
Mm-hmm.
She interpolates her own song in that as well.
Oh.
The part in Hung Up where she goes, "Time goes by so slowly
Oh.
for those who wait."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is a sample, an interpolation because she said that in that song with Prince. And but it's very slow. She's like, "Time goes by so,"
Oh
like
my
it's like
god, I love that. I do love that.
okay. So she taught SZA a thing or two. Another one, Wild Thoughts, DJ Khaled featuring
Oh
Rihanna and Bryson
yeah.
Tiller.
Oh
Now that
yes.
Maria
Mm-hmm.
sample from Santana,
Oh,
1999, another 90s
another
song.
90s.
But they took the guitar. It's like
No, they did
that is the
that.
piece. That is the feature. The sample can be the feature.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But like it cannot be the song.
Right.
And they totally changed everything else about the song.
Exactly.
It works so good. Don't Stop the Music by Rihanna, sampling Wanna Be Starting Something by Michael
Yes.
Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
1983.
Love that.
Perfect. Okay. So another one I have on here, Love Again by Dua Lipa. This
Mm-hmm.
one is interesting. Okay. Love Again, the beat's like ba, 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 da, 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 da,
Right.
da, da. Okay. So that is sampling. She says she sampled a song called Your Woman
Mm-hmm.
by White Town.
Okay.
Came out in 1997. It also uses that bit
Mm-hmm.
around the same tempo, but that was sampling My Woman by Lou Stone and the Monsignor Band featuring Al Bowley. I don't know any of those names.
Same.
That's because it came out in 1933.
33?
Think about what you're hearing. Think about it old fucking movie. Okay, ready?
Oh my god. Right.
Okay. That has been debated as like a sample for the Star Wars Imperial March. Now, look, it's not credited. That's the thing that's crazy. Is it's not credited
But
as a
oh
sample.
my
But I was
god.
like on the internet, I was like, that's got to
That
be a
has
sample.
got
And
to be.
people are like, well, it sounds like it. It sounds like it, but it's not like.
That would
But
be
so
that's so
everyone's kind of
crazy
in
because when
agreement.
you kept saying and I was like, why does it sound like I've heard that before somewhere else, like outside of a song?
Mm-hmm.
That is
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
But like literally, it's just like when you hear the original sample, it literally sounds like you're like watching the Three Stooges, and like it's like
I love that.
the music's doing all the work.
Mhm.
So, and then there's just a couple by 2 Chainz,
Mhm.
Trap Check. He
Mhm.
samples ASAP by Ti. Okay, that
Mhm.
comes in like 3/4 into the song, and it brings a different spice. He does the same thing in the song Tony with the Like a Pimp David Banner reference.
Yes.
Burn, 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 burn. He's referencing these artists
Mhm.
that like I can't remember about David Banner, but I know Ti came from Atlanta where he's from. So
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
think
this
both of
is
them are
my
from
spice.
Atlanta.
I think so. This is my seasoning. This is part of my
Mhm.
upbringing, and I'm bringing it into the new. So really great ways to do samples.
Right.
Those are my
And
samples.
like you said, it's like adding that spice. That's why it's going back to what I said. Like it just should be an embellishment. Like it shouldn't be like, oh, it's carrying
Yes.
the song. And when I say carrying the song, that doesn't mean that like it can't be the beat. Like it's okay if you're
Right.
using the beat, but like
Like Out of Time.
right, but like just everything else should be different at that point. And there's just also I feel like be some things that are added as well. But yeah.
And I like that in those 2 Chainz examples, it
Mhm.
comes like 3/4 through because then it's like it's a surprise. You're like,
Right. You're like, oh
bitch,
shit, I know
you
this.
just kicked this shit up in the next gear.
Right.
Like, okay. So that is all I got on my list. I got
Same.
a little bit of a long one, so I shouldn't say all I got, but that's what we got to say about fucking samples
Right.
today. And right now, and we'll see how the music
We'll see what
industry continues to
happens.
progress with this, but I'm hoping that it's maybe dying. I'm hoping that the fad is getting called out enough that we're going to be done soon.
I think it will be done soon. Like I think that it is a fad, and I think just because, like you said, with the age of TikTok, like bringing back old songs, I think it's just like everyone's trying to get their little piece of the pie, and they know if they bring back an old song, like people are gonna at very least gonna use it on TikTok. So like, I think it'll die. But I wish that we really go back to just creating beats, creating new sounds, and like understanding we've talked about it. It's okay to recycle things, like it's okay to sample things, but like I shouldn't be waiting to hear what somebody samples. Like when someone drops something new, I shouldn't be like, all right, well let's see what he gonna
Well, what's
sample.
what's
All
the
right, let's
song?
see who gonna sample this. Like that's just where I'm
Yeah.
at when as it
Could
pertains to
list
that. And
so
if you're gonna
many.
do it, make me like it. Like it needs to be leaps and bounds better than not better than a sample, but it needs to make sense.
It needs new context.
Right.
I think that is the best way to say it.
Correct.
The context needs to be fresh.
So
Okay.
that wraps up our little talk on ample samples, overflowing
That's
samples.
right. That's right. So all we got left now is our hot take, cold take. Hot take, cold take, hot take, cold take. We need a little jingle.
No, stop.
Wait, is that from something?
Don't.
That sounded so familiar.
Do not get me started. Not us
I'm
sampling
probably
somebody
stealing from
else.
another
Oh my god,
podcast.
not be sampling another podcast. What?
I know that's from something. I know I've heard that. Okay. Okay. All right. Hot take. I'll go first. I'll just go first.
Ahead.
Hot take. Anyone that has anything to say about anyone putting on, especially these women, putting on these 3-hour shows, have a full seat. Have a full seat. If you want to say, now obviously I'm referencing Taylor Swift and Beyonce, okay? Now, people always have a lot to say about both of those artists. And people want to say, oh, they're not performing this way, that caliber, da 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 da. They're putting on a 3-hour show. They are possibly even shifting the norm of what to expect from a concert.
Exactly.
This is the type of move that can have implications on what people do in the future. And I mean, ticket prices are so outrageous right now, and
Right.
it's fuck Ticketmaster for life. But at motherfucking least,
Right.
I'm gonna get a 3-hour show out of this
Exactly.
shit. That is crazy. And also, just like hats off to them.
Mhm.
Hats off. Like, that's insane to be singing, dancing,
Mhm.
walking, whatever the fuck it is you're doing.
Right.
Like,
Like
point A to point B to point C to point D multiple times a week for 3
Mhm.
hours straight. And bitch, you're the show. It's not like Broadway where you could be off the fucking stage for a good scene or two.
Exactly.
No, baby. It's you.
Right.
We're here to see you. They're on the stage for 3
Exactly.
fucking hours. Spare me, a costume change.
Exactly.
So
And
if you have anything negative to say about either of those women and what they're doing on stage, first off, you get your fucking ass on the stage
exactly.
and do your 3 hours. But second off, most importantly, have a fucking seat.
Have all of the seats. And what was funny is because I honestly was gonna make that my cold take. 'Cause I was really about to rant about Beyonce and everything that people have been saying about her, like in terms of, oh my god, she's not doing the dancing, she's not doing this, she's not doing this. I was like, shut your whole entire assholes up, because you know what? She's on stage for 3 hours, and Beyonce has dedicated almost close to 3 decades to this industry. And every single time that bitch has stepped on stage, you girls have had something negative to say and said that she's not all of that, she's not doing that well. And now you have the goddamn nerve and gall to be like, she's on stage and she's not dancing that much. Bitch, shut your ass up. She's doing more than some of your faves did in their goddamn prime on stage. I'm
Right.
like, please stop. Like, absolutely, positively stop. And I was like, I'll remind you girls, in Homecoming, she let you know, I'm never pushing
She
my
did.
my body that hard anymore. Y'all thought she was doing that for show. Y'all thought she was trying to get the Netflix streams when she said that. No, baby. Beyonce worked her ass off after having 3 kids. 3 kids. And might I return to the fact that the lady was at a 45-degree angle in a goddamn wooden chair while she was fucking pregnant with twins. And y'all are telling
Twins.
me that you want her to fucking keep doing that after all of these years? She's in her 40s. If you don't sit down, take these fashions, take this huge ass stage, take a 3-hour show, take the fucking costume changes, take the robots doing the Vogue for her, take the huge ass horses on the goddamn stage, and sit your entire ass down. I'm
Not
just
to mention, I've been trying to like avoid clips because I have tickets. I
right.
have tickets. I'm fucking going. I've been trying to avoid as much as I can because I don't want the whole show spoiled for me. But from what I have seen, Mama is having so much fun.
Right.
Are you kidding? Like, we can't let Beyonce have fucking fun
Exactly.
for once. Let the bitch have fun.
Like,
I live for it. I live for the joy.
okay, well, I guess I have to change
What's
my.
your hot one?
I'm gonna divide my hot and cold take is gonna end up being one and the same, and you'll see why. My hot take right now is, I know that they're not as poppin', and I know they're not at the forefront of music right now. People are not really paying attention to them, but the Jonas Brothers made some of the best music that they have made in their career right now. It's just such a refreshing sound. On our juice box, I put in Vacation Eyes because I was just like, their whole sound just sounds like it's giving very much so Endless Summer Vacation vibes. Like, it just sounds like summer. Like, it just sounds like summer. I mean, they mentioned summer like
Summer
17
rock
times.
pop.
Right. They mentioned summer rock, like, or summer, like at least 1,000 times in the album, but like, it just feels good. Like, it makes me want to. I was telling a friend of mine who also is like in love with the Jonas Brothers. I was just like, when you listen to Vacation Eyes, it just makes you want to be in love on the beach, and you just like drink tequila to the fact that y'all are not even fucking paying attention to everybody out there. You're just dancing in the wind with your fucking sundress, and the fucking sun is just beaming down on you, and you're just like, I'm here, yay. So like,
Not you in a sundress. I love that.
oh, honestly, maybe that may be the look this summer. Like,
Hello,
if you
album
see
cover.
me on Instagram post with a sundress on and the caption is Vacation Eyes, you know why. So that's my hot take. I'm going
But
to.
I kind of, you said it's the same, so
It's like
I
one
have
and
to
the
know
same,
how this.
because my cold take is segueing away from. It's a segue from my hot take. because the end of that statement is John Bellion deserves the
Mm-hmm.
hype, and we need to give him his credit for his producing and his writing. And my cold take is that we
Okay.
need to give more credit and money to writers in general and songwriters in general, because if y'all knew the breakdown and how songwriters are not paid enough for their stuff, they're not paid outright like some of the producers. The producers are like, I'm showing up,
Mm-hmm.
this is how much money that I'm making when I make this beat or when I'm producing this record. The songwriters have to depend on if the song does well. And I think that that is bullshit, because you still have to sit there, you still have to give your time and effort to a song. And you just don't know if that song is going to be used. You don't know how well that song is going to do. And if that song just doesn't do well, you've almost entirely wasted your time.
Mm-hmm.
Or if the artist used that song, because sometimes we know that the
Right.
artists, like celebrity recording artists, they write up to, or they sing and they record up to like 50 to 100 songs for one project. So it's just like your song may never even be used. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
just like honestly a slap in the face. So that's why I'm making it my cold take, because whether you know about this or not, it is a cold take. The writers need to be more respected. And the reason I
Mm-hmm.
said John Bellion, because first of all, I like him as an artist in general, but I also like the art that he's produced. And I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, first of all, this man's list. Let's start at number one. And I was like, I'm gonna gag you because I know you don't really like John Bellion like that, but I'm gonna gag you because his main collaborator is Justin Bieber. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
let you go and look on those credits later on. His main
No, I
collaborator
know.
is Justin Bieber. And
I
then
know.
he also did Midnight Sky. He did Prisoner with Miley Cyrus. He's worked with Selena Gomez, Katy Perry,
Mm.
Halsey, Maroon 5, CeeLo. Like he's just, and I was looking and I was like, this man has credits. And like some of the songs that he helped produce and some of the songs he helped to write do well. Like they're great songs. And I just think that
Mm-hmm.
even with him producing this Jonas Brother album, I'm just like, this is such a fresh sound for them and it's so much more musical. And I know even in his music or other songs that I've heard him produce as well, he just really adds an element of like, I feel musicality that like most people don't do. Like he thinks about something different. He thinks of different ideas that can happen in a song. He also is about his staple for me is like, you think you're gonna hear this beat for the rest of the song, and then he's like, nah, we're gonna change the song. Nah, we're gonna change this here too. Like I just really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. So I think that he deserves the hype.
I actually liked John Bellion a lot when like he first came out. I was listening to his stuff. Maybe it was the first album or mixtape or something. And then his voice, I just started to not be able to tolerate it. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like that's just the thing, you know. Sometimes someone's voice will just like get on your nerves, and
Yeah.
that's just kind of how I feel about him. So like, I definitely go up for his credits more than his personal work.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that like there was a time where he was doing some like gospel stuff, so he really
Mm-hmm.
fucking lost me. But
He also produces a lot of the kids pop, a lot of the kids pop CDs.
no words.
Woo! I honestly,
I have no
I
words.
literally, and I'm like, that is so weird to me. Like that's so weird. I was like, kids pop? Like where did that come from?
Right. Okay. Well, I gotta give you my cold take
Yes,
now.
go take.
My cold take. Very cold. Very
Mm.
cold. You ready? Nick Cannon must be stopped. Not should, not ought to,
Must.
must be stopped. Listen to this. Listen to this. I don't know if you heard,
Oh God.
but I did. Mother's Day. Imagine Mother's Day. Your Nick Cannon and Mother's Day is here. Okay. Okay. So I know from his own mouth on his
Mm-hmm.
own radio show that he said, I want to make handwritten cards for all my baby mamas. There are six. There are six.
And I would like to say that Mariah Carey is not one of them. We've already discussed. I'm sorry, the Lamberley has discussed. Those kids are not. Do not. Those are not. She's talked to Monroe. She's talked to them babies and been like, those kids are not your siblings. We have nothing to do with them. We are rich, and they are not. that relationship with Nick
Okay.
Cannon is a fever dream.
I agree. I fully agree. I can't believe he has Mariah wrapped up in this. But to continue on the story, he said, I'm on a write handwritten messages. He said on his show, he got the bitches mixed up while writing the messages. So some of these cards, half the messages for one baby mama, and then he forgot and started talking to a different baby mama in the same fucking message. Keep in mind, one of his baby mamas is a co-host on this radio show. She's across the fucking table as he's saying this. I'm sorry. This man must
throw
be
him
stopped.
under the grave. Under.
What is like? He did not have to even share that.
And I'm just like, baby, what is going on? Like, what is he saying to y'all to allow y'all to be? Because I'm just like, y'all have to know. I don't care what anybody says, and I don't care what he says. Nick Cannon money ain't that long. Like, it cannot be that long. Like, at some
that's
point,
why he's always working.
Like,
he's always.
I'm just like, baby, come on. Like, there is absolutely positively no reason, and that is disrespectful. That's a wild disrespectful. Like, I would have honestly smacked him with one of those mics if he said that, and I was his baby mom's right across the fucking table from him. Like, no, I'm sorry. I would have definitely take one of those mics and hit him about 3 times.
Hello. I'm just saying, whatever you did for Mother's Day, if you celebrate, probably looks a lot better now because it wasn't that stupid shit.
Exactly.
Must be stopped. Cold take.
All right.
That's it. Oh my gosh. This is like our shortest episode yet. Look at us go. We tried so hard to keep it at an hour. We went a little over,
I know.
but just barely. And I think we gave you lots to nibble on, lots to chew on, some things to sample.
Right.
Okay.
We gave you ample samples.
Hello. So come over for our charcuterie dinner. No, but
and I guess this week's juice is ample sample. I feel like it has a hint of apple in there, you know. So
also like just a small taste of cheese and crackers. Like it's just a little piece of you. Was that an aftertaste of cheese and crackers in my juice? I'm not saying it's a good drink. I'm not saying it's a good drink, mama. I'm just saying.
I don't like it.
Apples, crackers, and cheese, like that's a Lunchable. That's a Lunchable, baby.
All in one. All in one.
You didn't like Lunchables, bitch.
Exactly. As a matter of
Don't lie
fact,
to
it's
me.
it's giving a juice cleanse. Like, come on, like.
And on that fucking note,
right.
let's get the fuck out of here. So I am Tyler. You can find me at Tyler Music with an X, TXLER, and on Instagram and soon to be TikTok when I can get that shit sorted out. Y'all, I don't know if you know, but like if you used to log in with Instagram, they like canceled that shit and now you have to like recover your account. They're just not responding to me. So y'all, I'm working on it. I'm doing my best. Nate, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Nate Myles. Myles is spelled with a Y on every single social media platform. And you can also follow us on Sonic Juice Pod on all of our social media platform, and definitely interact with us on Instagram. You know, we doing a little smoochy Mary kill. You know,
yes, we've got music takes all the fucking time for y'all. We've got clips, we've got polls. So come hang out with us. Come have some fun with us.
Juice, it's Sonic Juice, it's Sonic Juice, baby, juice.